Hi, and welcome back to Nutrition 101. So today we're going over the basics. This is going to be a short and sweet, to the point type of video. Um, a lot of this stuff that I'm going to tell you is kind of common sense for some of us and not common sense for others of us that are maybe new to nutrition. So I wanted to cover it just in case, okay? So number one, when it comes to living a healthy lifestyle, eating fresh, whole foods is key. Okay, so when it comes to fresh, whole foods, you want to shop on the outside of your store. Okay, so in my store, when I walk in, it's the fruits and vegetables. That's where I'm going to do a lot of my shopping. I'm going to mainly eat with my diet and what I'm eating for my nutrition is fruits and vegetables. And then I'm going to make my way back, and that's going to be the meat section, I don't know what they call that, meat and cheese and all of those things. That's where I'm going to be getting my chicken. I'm going to be getting some cheeses, some shrimp, some fish. I like to get whole meats and then bring them home and then make them into whatever I want to be. I'm not buying processed like lunch meats or hot dogs or a ton of bacon. Like I do eat bacon. I'm just not making that a huge point in my diet. I'm just going to eat more of the fresh whole foods. And then I make my way to the dairy section. So almond milks, eggs, yogurts, that area. And on our plan, protein, a great protein is eggs. I eat a lot of eggs. I eat a lot of yogurt. I personally am not a huge fan of milk. I just have never liked it. I'm not lactose intolerant and I don't have a problem with dairy, but a lot of people do. So if you know for a fact you're not struggling with dairy, have milk, that's fine, but I recommend whole milk. And that might sound a little odd for you because you're like, oh wait, I shouldn't have that fat. I should do skim or 2% to be healthier. Once again, fat is good for you. And the main reason why I say you should have whole milk versus the 1% is because you're going to have less sugar. Basically, when they take fat out of any product, especially dairy, they add in sugar. So if you find that low-fat yogurt, it actually has more sugar than the whole-fat yogurt because they add the sugar to make it taste better when they remove the fat. So do your whole milk. Now, when it comes to almond milk or coconut milk or cashew milk, which is what I prefer, always choose the unsweetened kind. Sweeteners are not good for you. Sugar is really what creates a lot of health issues, diabetes, obesity. All of those issues are not coming from having too much fat or anything. It's sugar. It's literally sugar. So you want to keep those tips in mind when you're grocery shopping. And then when I come around, there's also the breads. So I personally go for the organic sprouted whole grain bread. I like Dave's Killer Breads. I love the sprouted one. But I try and keep bread limited. I'm not having a ton of bread for my macronutrients and my carbs for the day. I'm not filling all of my carbs with bread. I'm going to have oatmeal, or I'm going to have some sort of quality carbohydrate that also has protein and fibers, etc. You can find really good breads that have a bunch of fiber and protein and really good stuff in them. Do that. It's not about being perfect all the time, but if you can make one simple step and just have a higher quality bread, that's going to make a huge difference in your life. Also, like I said, keeping to whole foods. If it grows on a plant, eat it. If it comes in a package, you probably don't want to eat it. That's processed and that's not as good for your body, and your body is going to struggle to digest that. And that's going to create more inflammation in your body, which is going to make it harder to function, and it's going to cause for dis-ease, which is disease. The next thing is look for things that are higher in protein. So for instance, if I'm going to choose a granola bar, I'm going to choose a granola bar that has more protein and fiber than something that has less of those and maybe more sugars. So when you're looking for different things, like I said, rice, look at the one that has the higher amount of protein, because that's going to give your body more of what it needs as you live this more fit and healthy life. You want to keep your carbs at a minimum, as we know, and as you'll learn with the macronutrition plan, you're not eating a ton of carbs. That's just how it goes. Carbs do create different things for your body. They do turn into sugars, a lot of them, and that's not healthy to have your full diet full of carbs. And I will tell you, when I first started eating a healthier nutrition plan, carbs, I was eating way too many carbs. like too many and not enough protein. So you might be in the same shoes, and you're going to definitely see and get an idea of really what you should be eating on a regular day. And that's what's so cool about this plan. So portion control, I mean, that's what we're kind of talking about when we're talking about macronutrients. We're talking about having the right amounts of each food group and keeping the portions correct for you and your body and your goals. Now, one thing I did want to go over, I kind of covered this a little bit in the macronutrients video, but when it comes to this plan, you can interchange things. So it's not about giving anything up and sacrificing and making yourself feel like, oh, I'm on a diet and restricted. I never want you to feel that way. So you can interchange things. So for instance, with your carbohydrates that you get each day, you can interchange them. For instance, if you want a cocktail or a glass of wine, you want to interchange that for your carbs for the day. So instead of having that slice of bread that you have for breakfast, you're going to save your carbs later for that cocktail that you really want when you go out with your girlfriends or for dinner. Okay. So it's not sacrificing. It's about making, like, substituting and making that sacrifice. Am I having my carbs today, or am I going to have my cocktails? A cocktail, my go-to cocktail, and this is another quick, easy thing, is when it comes to cocktails, clear liquids are always better. They're going to have less sugar in them and less calories. So vodka, gin, those are better substitutes in like a whiskey or a different type of like sugary cocktail. So I always do a vodka water with lemon, and I love it. I'm getting hydration with the water, lemon for a little squeeze, and vodka, and it's great. And it's my go-to. And obviously there's not a bunch of sugar in it, which is the kind of the problem with alcohol in general. So that's a go-to. And then also thinking about, just lighter cocktails, lighter beverages. Also, when it comes to desserts or drinks like, a latte, like a caramel frappuccino, I'm not saying you can't have those. I'm not saying that you're having them every day. However, you have to interchange your carbs for those things. So instead of having, your oats for breakfast, you're going to have your caramel frappuccino instead, and you're not going to have that carb. You're going to have the caramel frappuccino instead, or your cake after dinner. You're going to have your cake because you chose not to have the pasta. So it's just about interchanging and finding where it works in for your plan, but never sacrificing and feeling like you have to give anything up, because that's not a lifestyle plan. That's not something you can do long term. And my plan is something you're going to be able to do long term. So that's kind of fun, and you're going to start thinking about things a little different. You're going to start thinking about foods a little different. You're going to start thinking about how you can squeeze more vegetables in, like adding spinach to your shakes. There are just these little tips that we're going to go over as time goes on, and little things you're going to learn that are going to absolutely change your life 100%. So there are your basic tips for Nutrition 101, and I can't wait to see you guys tomorrow. Bye.